Okay, I think it's on now, guys. Sorry about that. My sound absolutely brain dead. My stupid microphone in my big ranting start of the show, I had to turn myself off. That's how angry I am with myself at the moment. And how this, how this team and this club have got me. God. Right, just let me know that I am okay, everyone. And that I've got sound back. I've lost my voice from today, Alien. That's it. That's what's going on. Am I here? Tell me I'm here, everyone. I think I'm here anyway. Good. Good, now I can hear you. Okay. You didn't need to hear the start of that because I was just going on and ranting about Man United, about what went on today. So, yeah, you probably you probably actually understandable that I was actually in a tiff and a mess and all over the place. But, God in Bennett, guys, what is going on? What the hell is going on with this football team right now? You guys seen my vlog outside. Look, literally, it's like ultimate depression stood outside Old Trafford right now. Absolute catastrophe, horrible nightmare. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong, and that included the bleeding weather. I got blown away just doing my vlog. Lucky I caught a little gap in between the weather, but right now it is absolutely horrendous here in Manchester. There is a storm brewing, and that storm started today outside Old Trafford. It was ready to come down and come down on our manager because that team that he is putting out on the pitch is just absolutely useless. It is gutless, clueless, useless, pathetic, shambolic. I think I used every single word in my vocabulary today. Some will say that's not much, but honestly, it's me. I am what I am, and yeah, it's a shit show, guys. Honestly, this team, this club, everything about it just depresses me now. Do you know what I did today? Sandro with the super chat early doors. I'll just read that out quickly. I'm not a coach, but what the fuck is that midfield shape? Exactly, mate. Do you know what I did today, guys? First time I've ever done this. Going to Old Trafford. I walked out the grounds with about 3 minutes to go. I couldn't see it out. I always stand there and I applaud the team. Just doing the normal thing. I think I just got stuck in a routine with actually just applauding the team going off. I walked out today. I'd had enough. It literally got to me. It really did. It hit me so hard that today as to like how far behind this team is and how pathetic it is. If you guys haven't seen my, let's call it a rant for about 9 minutes on my match vlog, go and give it a watch after this show. You'll see the passion and the anger and everything that's inside me. I've had a little bit of time. I've had food, which does help me. I've got the old tonic, which is a nice glass of red wine, just to calm my nerves and actually just settle myself down, because what went on there today on that Old Trafford pitch was nothing short of an absolute disgrace. I sound like Arteta now, don't it? It was a disgrace. But yeah, it is bad for your health, Manchester United. It is right now. Looking ahead to the week that's coming, Bayern Munich and Liverpool, I can't see any way out of this for Erik ten Hag, and that's where I'm going to start with this today. I cut my vlog. You know what? I didn't even do my vlog. I didn't even finish my vlog, like my match day vlog. You know, the one I put out the day after every single match day? I just haven't got it. I'd said everything I needed to say in the match reaction straight outside the ground. That was enough for me. Plus, I was getting piss wet through and I needed to get to the car, but I was done, dusted earlier. I was like, you know what? I've got nothing left. Nothing left. I want to see what everyone else thinks. I want to know. I was listening to people on the radio. They were coming out with shit, coming out with absolute crap. The honesty is in people looking in from the outside. And I made a point today, and I'll say this again. It's Manchester United against Bournemouth at Old Trafford. And let's just get this straight. Bournemouth deserved a win today. I just want to put that out there straight away, just in case people start saying we were hard done to, this decision, that decision. I don't think the ref had a great game, but he let the game go, flow, and it was pretty decent performance from the ref for me today. But Bournemouth deserved everything they took from that game today, so credit to them first of all. I said that straight out on my match reaction outside the ground. So I want to get that clear. I want to make sure that that is actually done and dusted. Actually, we can see... I can see my man Jay, actually, in. I'm just going to see if I can bring Jay into the room now, so just bear with me a second, guys. I'm going to see if I can work my own technology here. So here we go. Let's just see if I can get this done. Just bear with me 1 second, everybody. I am going to just have a play around, see if I can get Jay in the room. This is me using technology right now. So hopefully I can manage this on my own and get Jay in with us. I'm pretty certain we are going to be crack-a-lacking here right now. We might be able to get Jay in the room, hopefully, if this comes on. Hey, there we go. Jay's in the room. I can at least perform my duties as a technician and sorting my own show out and producing my own show. But Jay, can you hear me okay?
Adam, you performed more technical ability and technical nous there than our manager did today on that linking me in there. I watched him at your action, Adam, and we have to give Bournemouth and their manager, their players, all the credit in the world. They came today, probably expecting a draw, and came away with 3 points, and full credit to them. But look at what happened during the week. It's this boom bust cycle with this club. Like I called us the Muppet Show. I think Mourinho, or was it Van Gaal called it Disneyland. We're like a Latin American tin pot little country. We go from boom to bust cycles every year. But for us, it's every week. Like last Sunday, Adam, we were bemoaning the performance against Newcastle. Then Wednesday, that small, tiny slimmer of light during the week. And now here we are again tonight, Adam, crestfallen. But anybody that got gaffed on Wednesday, well, they're getting what they deserve. And there was people I saw on Twitter espousing the virtues of Ten Hag getting manager of the month, Harry getting the player of the month, and Garnacho rightly getting goal of the month. And one guy even tweeted and tagged Man City and said, "Our triple is better than yours." The standards of the fan base, Adam, have never been lower. And right now tonight, just when you think we can't stoop any lower, to get beaten by Bournemouth at home 3-0 in that manner. We've used all the curse words we've said already. I'm sure in the stadium you heard enough of them. I was with my son watching the game, so I was trying to be somewhat tempered. But Jesus Christ, Adam, like, how low do we have to go? And I think I texted you after the game, like, the final nail in the coffin is going to come against Liverpool next week. This manager, my friend, is a dead man walking.
That is it, Jay. In all of this, I'm just going to read a super chat out quickly now from Lee, pretty much who brings us on to Ten Hag and the issues we've got. I'm still Ten Hag in, as we can't sack another manager and keep these players again. But Ten Hag not helping himself when it comes to team selection. Team selection, Jay, I think you know where I'm going to go with this one straight away in terms of that lineup and who was in that lineup and let us down. Quickly, another one, a donated membership is in the chat there now from Honest Tiger. Brilliant stuff. Thanks for all the likes, guys. I always know when Honest Tiger is in here that we've actually got over 100 likes. Brilliant stuff. Get your comments flying in, any questions to me and Jay as we go forward. But Jay, that team selection, I've said my piece on it. I said it before the game. I said it in the game. I was not happy with Managerial being in the team. I wasn't happy that we had two international centre-backs on the bench and a left-back at centre-back again. He only changed two people, but got it so wrong, Jay, for me.
Look, I hope tonight was the Anthony Martial testimonial game, because I never want to see that charlatan in a jersey for club again. Ed Woodward gave him £250,000 a week. That's £12 million a year on a 5-year deal. £60 million contract for Martial. Charlatan, wage stealer. He's actually brought the number 9 on disrepute. 3,000 out of the Prem when Ibra came in 2016 under Jose. Instead of thinking, hang on a second, this is Ibrahimovic, I can learn from him. 2,000 out of the Prem, wouldn't really learn, wouldn't kind of up his game. And we've had this cult in the club for the last couple of years, this Martial FC bollocks. And it's a complete bollocks. On previous shows we were on another forum, you saw in the comments all the time, when I said off Martial, they came at me like vultures on a carcass. Martial had maybe 18 good months for the club. And he's a sulky, moody little prick. And the sooner he's gone at him, the better. £60 million contract, 5 years, and that's what we get. It's a waste of fucking oxygen, Adam. And I don't like cursing on your show, you know I don't, but Martial, man, once he was picked today, we're playing with 10 men. And then, I'm sure you said it in your post-match about Varane not playing beside Maguire centre-back. Instead we get Luke Shaw, who I thought was decent against Newcastle. I did. But tonight, playing beside Maguire, we don't have, Varane isn't there. He's a World Cup winner, should play beside Maguire, and he's on the bench, and that's on the manager. And players can go on and on about, oh, Ten Hag's hard, if this is that, disciplinarian. But to not play your fit World Cup winner now. How many games in a row, Adam? Is it 4 games in a row he hasn't played Varane?
Mate, it's more.
So
more.
Varane,
he's not started a game since the end of October, and he's been available.
So if Varane is still at the club, sorry, I rephrased that. If Ten Hag is at the club in January, Varane's gone.
Yeah.
And we're left rotating our back three between Lindelof, Maguire. To his credit tonight, 2 blocks. I think if he hadn't blocked those 2 blocks tonight, you were there, we would have been 5 or 6. He could probably do better for the final goal. But tonight, Harry Maguire, and I got to give him credit where it's due, he was one of the better players.
Yeah, he was.
And we are now at the level of a club where Harry Maguire is one of the better players. And I've been calling him out for years. But I got to give him credit tonight. He was one of the better lads tonight.
Yeah, he was, mate.
But playing beside Shaw at centre back, Maguire's going to look even worse than he actually is. And that's on the manager. So you start with that back four. You start with sick note, as I always refer to him as, and then Scott now thinks he's a fucking striker. Or he thinks he's, I know, a FIFA term, I've seen people say, no, he's better off playing number 10. If you ever like it, Scott, McForwards, McSideways, really call him playing as a fucking number 10, Adam. Did you ever hear such bullshit in all your life?
Mate.
The gaps in midfield were papered over on Wednesday because Chelsea were so bad. But tonight, Bournemouth exposed our gaps in midfield. Amrabat cannot do it by himself.
No, honestly. No, mate.
You know, we've been hard on players, but the manager picks the team. And that performance tonight, that's on the manager. He's responsible.
Yeah, as that sure he's out of shape again, says Sandro with a super chat. Cheers for that, mate. Guys, I think my sound is up now, so you should all be okay with that one. It did drop out a minute, so well noticed, guys. I think that's just to do with all my little messing around with buttons and stuff. Yeah, I'm learning. It looks like Ten Hag is learning fast about who we can and can't trust in this team, Jay. We talked about Martial, we're blaming Martial for his attitude. That's him when he gets on the pitch. But Martial doesn't have to be on the pitch. Martial should not be on the pitch. That is on Ten Hag. It is also on Ten Hag how he keeps trusting in Scott McTominay, like you said there. And Scott McTominay's performance on Wednesday against Chelsea was the game that he played today, but without the goals. I said that as well. That's what it was. People getting carried away because he scored goals. And stats stand up. They really do. A lot of people argue the points of Bruno Fernandes on that as well, who's now suspended with a yellow card for the Liverpool game. He's probably thinking he's actually avoided one there in getting out of that game. But for me, I look at it and I go, right now, and I've said, and you messaged me privately, Jay, when I did that video regarding the players every single season, going all the way back to 2016. There's been 4 players in this team that I've seen off manager after manager after manager. And they've all had horrific seasons at one point or another in that spell. That's Luke Shaw, Scott McTominay, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. Now, them 4 names at the moment in this team, I could easily see this season out without seeing any of them names on my team sheet again. That's how disgusted and disappointed I am in their performances this season. Are we seeing a players versus manager? Not so much argument. Are we seeing a players versus manager sort of standoff right now, Jay? And until Ineos come in with Sir Jim Radcliffe, it's a case of who can win. Because if Ineos come in and back Ten Hag, then these players have lost. These players, I feel, right now, and as sad as it sounds, Jay, it's like they're trying to make this happen before Ineos take over and Sir Jim Radcliffe comes into the club. It's an absolute farce how they're getting away with this continuously. And I know I've got Ten Hag's blame in this, but I feel like they have literally just given up on him. Like, you cannot do what you did against Chelsea and then come out against Bournemouth and play that way. It's like they've gone, oh, we've done well there. That's looking good for Ten Hag. We're 3 points off the top. As soon as we get close, Jay, we just completely fall away. Completely fall away to the degree that we did today. I'm not taking anything away from Bournemouth, but you should not be losing 3-0 to anyone at Old Trafford if you're Manchester United, mate.
Okay, Adam, there's a lot to unpack there. So I'll start with today, and you referenced Bruno. First goal, that's on him.
It is.
You're in the ground.
I agree, mate. I agree.
He played. He's atypical. We call it in Ireland. I don't know why you call it in the UK. We call it a hospital ball. Hospital ball to McTominay. McTominay is not going to control the ball in the air. It's not in his locker. Lose possession, and then a simple square ball. Now, some people might have said, could Maguire have done better? But he was caught flat-footed. Speed's nice thing. Simple ball across the box, 1-0 down. And Adam, you've seen it time and time again on this manager. We go 1-0 down, heads drop. Heads drop. Okay, so that's the Bruno thing. So you know what, Bruno? I'd argue, did Bruno actually try and get booked to dodge Liverpool next week? To be discussed in the chat. Because can't make us conspiracy theorist, but he now is dodging a humiliation next week in Liverpool.
Yes.
So was that by design? So we raised that point. Your point regarding the players, if you remember the famous leopards and spots speech by Roy Keane, it was during the latter end of Jose's reign, and he said these players threw last manager on the bus. They're going to throw this manager on the bus, and they're going to do it again. Leopards and spots, and here we are now. 3 years later, 4 years later, and we're back to the same spot. These players again throwing another manager under the bus. Park team selection, park man management, park what's happened at training ground. 4 players have seen off team managers, and another manager is been thrown under the bus. And whether you're Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out, say we get, I don't know who we're going to get in January. Who can we get in January? You probably end up with McKenna and Fletcher as caretakers.
Honestly, mate, if I'm McKenna, I'm onto a good thing at Ipswich. I ain't going anywhere because it will destroy his career. If McKenna came into United, just out of just saying that, if he came into United, his career's done. He's finished. It will destroy him. There is no man on this planet big enough to handle Manchester United, apart from possibly the 2 managers we can't get who are at City and Liverpool, in Pep and Klopp. I would argue maybe Ancelotti and Zidane, bigger than any player on that Manchester United pitch.
Yeah.
Any up-and-coming manager right now is going to be slaughtered by these players, Jay. I just want to say that.
Yeah, right now, Adam, that job is a poison chalice.
100%.
And it's been a poison chalice for many, many, many years. Fans don't want to admit the fact, but Alex Ferguson set that wheel in motion when he literally anointed Moyes' manager. Moyes was never good enough to manage that team. That infamous speech on the pitch, your job now is backup manager, that was bollocks from day one. Mm-hmm. You've put Moyes in as the manager. You're moving upstairs. You're taking, and fans don't want to hear this, Adam, but I'm going to say it. You move upstairs. You're an ambassador. You're on the board. You're getting paid by the Glazers. You've kept stum all these years. And fans think that Alex Ferguson, he's beyond reproach. Bollocks. I'm not having it. He appointed Moyes and set in train the carriages that we're now on. This to the station of nowhere. That's where we are. We are a nowhere team for the last 10 years. And I think Ferguson's appointment of Moyes set the wheels in motion. If you recall, we got beaten by Jose's Real Madrid at home. And it's been well documented that Mourinho wanted the job. His agent told him he was getting the job. He didn't get the job because Ferguson didn't want him to get it, and neither did Bobby Charlton. So, you know, Ferguson has some answer here. We'll never hear it publicly, but he has, and fans don't want to hear it. So there's a lot of factors tonight, Adam, that prove where we are. Now, you can moan and groan all you want to put Ten Hag. He's the right man for the job. I'm 50-50. He leaves tomorrow morning, Adam. Say we get in, say McKenna comes in, or whoever we get in. We got a Carrick for 2 games. The players bounced for 2 games. Then they got in Ralph, who was a totalitarian manager, did his things his way, and all of a sudden ties out the pram again. When the players don't get what they want, when they want. They're like a bunch of fucking school children.
Mate,
that's what they're like.
Mate, honestly, it's like, how dare you actually try and put repercussions on how I play? It's like you're actually questioning me at this football club. I said it the other day. The inmates are running the asylum, Jay. That's what is happening right now. The players are completely controlling what is going on. It's like what happened in the press conference this week before the Chelsea game was proof that that is exactly what's going on at United right now. Ten Hag knows the press that were asking the questions and doing their job and reporting on what had happened were right in what was going on. He actually admitted that maybe a couple of people don't agree. Well, that's not everyone is behind each other in that team like you said it is then, Eric. And do you know what it's like? I've lost faith in Eric Ten Hag and how he talks in press conferences. I struggle. The language barrier is destroying him, and the press right now are just taking chunks out of him. It is absolutely ridiculous in terms of how they are and what happens, but it is what it is. This is the beast. It is Manchester United. It's absolutely crazy. Quickly, guys, first 1,000 in the chat live with us right now. Brilliant stuff. That's the first time we've had it on FUTV. Thank you so much. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you're tuning in for the first time. Anyone asking why I'm not on the United stand is simply because I moved away. I wanted more. I wanted better. This is better for me, and you wouldn't get shows like this with me and Jay tonight, live talking to you guys and going to the chat like I am right now to speak to you. It's about us and you in all of this, but cheers everybody. We've got Jay in the chat who says, honestly, it doesn't really matter who is the manager at this point. They need someone above to come in and gut things and exit players from contracts as a priority. Now, Jay, that brings up our next point, which I want to talk about. The players that are coming to the end of their contracts. Would you just cut your losses and let them go for free right now, just to get them out of the club? Because it looks like it's impossible to get anything at all for him.
Okay, I've said my piece on Martial. I've been quite vehement on him. Wan-Bissaka, we paid 50 mil for him. He's never going to be the quote unquote the modern day fullback. If our Wan-Bissaka is playing in the 90s and 90s, he's probably playing for England. But would you keep him as a backup? Possibly. Lindelof, I wanted the best for him. You know, he's good in the ball. He almost looks shit beside Maguire, but he does shirk physical battles. I think his decision making is poor. Came in under Mourinho. I think he's run his race. I think he's done. Rashford, unfortunately, we're stuck with him, so I can't even discuss him because he's here. We're stuck with him. Who else, Adam, we talking about?
We've got Lindelof, who's also due to leave as well. That's
I did him
right there. Maguire is coming close to his as well. So we've got some big names, mate.
Right. Okay, so wait for the English media to go under Harry Maguire loving. He's played maybe now 6-7 games where he's been decent.
Yeah, agreed.
He's been decent for Harry Maguire. For Harry Maguire, he has been decent for Harry Maguire levels. Are you going to win a Champions League or a title with Harry Maguire as your leading centre back? No. Would I renew his contract? Absolutely not. But wait and see. The English media will go on the Harry Maguire offensive, and also Jim Ratcliffe has already stated they want to build a nucleus of English players in that team. So the likes of Maguire and Rashford, I think even under Ratcliffe, we're stuck with.
Yeah, I think that's the point. That super chat in from Sandro says these players are as bad, same as Eric's shape. The shape of the game today, Jay. Honestly, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the shape. I thought the shape was the same as it always is, except the players put in a bit more effort against Chelsea. My issue was, and I said this in my reaction straight outside the ground, I said, look, the tone was set straight away today by a lethargical Luke Shaw playing a blind pass back to Onana. The crowd today, I'm just going to say this, I forgot to say it in my actual reaction outside the ground, so I just wanted to say this, but the crowd today at the start of that game were buzzing. The atmosphere is the best it's been for a long time because of what the players did against Chelsea on Wednesday night. You do that, it's infectious. The crowd get behind you, and it was ready. It was ready to rock. Old Trafford was ready for a performance and a backup from Chelsea. It was. Within 2 minutes, Luke Shaw did that. The place just went into meltdown, Jay. It just wiped out all confidence. What happens? 2 minutes later, we don't learn from our lessons. Bruno, Amrabat, McTominay combined, indecision all over the place, suicide ball. In comes Solanke, bang, 1-0, and then we're up against it. The crowd then start getting aggy, and it turns on Manchester United again because they didn't have the mentality to recover from that. They walked onto that pitch thinking they were going to steamroll Bournemouth, Jay, today. And Luke Shaw, Mr. Experience, been at the club probably as long as anyone, like I said before, been at the club since he was a teenager, in fact, absolutely let that team down there today. At fault for nearly the first goal, which was a penalty nearly, and then the second goal, playing another blind ball into the middle. I said at half-time, Jay, we needed to sub Luke Shaw, Amrabat and Martial off because Bournemouth were destroying the spine of our team. And that's what they did. And that's where that second goal came from. We were an absolute shambolic disgrace in our effort and application to that whole game. Ten Hag's shape, you can... Anyone's shape will look crap, Jay, if you're not going to put the effort into getting behind it and working hard at it. I think players there went hiding again today when the chips were down.
So Adam, like you're on the ground, so you're hearing the rapturous applause and cheers the players get to come out to the pitch.
Yeah.
If you're a player, you want to keep that intensity with your crowd up for the majority of the game. Then as soon as the crowd see 3 or 4 errors, it's like the oxygen is sucked out of the room. The crowd turn, then they get in your back. And then players, as you point out there, players go missing. The average players go missing in action. Okay? I was at a Barcelona training camp during the summer with my son for a week. And there was a chap there called Ramon Calderé. Played for Spain in the World Cup and won a European Cup with Barcelona. He gave a whole spiel on professional football. He said, the difference between an elite footballer and a mid-level footballer isn't technical ability. It's their mentality and their ability to process information fast.
Yeah.
And these players, when it comes to processing information around them on the pitch, they crumble. And we always go on about Rashford and football IQ because it's really obvious. But there's so many players on that pitch, when it goes hard, they either shut down their football IQ or don't have it to begin with because they go missing in action. Previously in our chat, you referenced Scott McTominay. Now, a lot of his game, he'll jog beside the player, he'll hop, skip and jump and dance, but would he fuck put in a tackle? He won't tackle. And it's glossed over then, but he gets the odd goal here and there, which we give him credit for. But he's not at the level for our club. And the fans get gassed so easy. Like, we're from a very similar generation. We've seen success. We've seen what success takes. The fans now, to get a win against a mediocre Chelsea team, they get gassed. And as soon as our players go goal down at home, they lose their own crowd.
Yeah.
If you can't even raise your own crowd at home, you've got massive problems as a team.
Exactly that. It's an interesting comment here from Brendan, actually. I know what you're saying by this, Brendan. He said, Adam, if Delo squares that ball, it's a different ball game. He's not good enough. I understand what you're saying now and the positivity that could have changed the game. Yes, it could. But let's not forget, they hit the post in the first half, Bournemouth. They had a goal disallowed in the first half, Bournemouth. The game was gone. Bournemouth should have been scoring 6 goals in that game. That's how bad we were. I said it. I said, obviously, Manchester United in possession, that's how you beat United. We gift chances away. We haven't got the quality in our squad to actually create chances. We can't deal with low blocks. Iriola said in his post-match press conference, we knew we'd be dangerous in the transition. Ten Hag said it, they were very good in the transition. I'll take your chances then. Oh no, forget about that. We don't create any chances. 20 shots on goal, 3 on target. And like I said, Bournemouth, 30% possession at best all game. More shots on target, 3 goals scored, 2 goals disallowed in that, plus the 3 goals they scored, off the post in the first half as well, and almost a penalty in the first minute. You telling me that Manchester United, it might have been a different game if we scored? If we scored, Bournemouth would have scored again. I guarantee it. That's how bad we were. We were unbelievable. And like I said, Jake, in my reaction, we just cannot score goals. We have purchased a striker. I'm going to get into the transfer dealings now. I mean, how much Ten Hag is involved in this, I do not know. Honest Tiger, cheers very much for that donation of a membership as well. Jump on that, guys, as quick as you can. Brilliant stuff as always. We are over 200 likes, snaking on to 300. How many players do you need to fight for the top 5, says Mark LFC. Rubbing it in, I know, but we need a lot, mate. Highland, we've bought a player in. Martial started ahead of him today, Jay, and I know we both bemoaned that. It was poor decision. People were saying he's looking ahead to the Bayern Munich game. I'm like, the most important game is the one right in front of you right now. Forget about the game in the future, because if you lose this one and then it doesn't work out on Wednesday, you look like more of a dickhead, to be honest. So we've bought a striker. Yeah, all the potential in the world, but has got issues with injuries. We've bought a striker who we can't get 90 minutes out of now. We've already got that in Martial, so where is our scouting network with that? We brought Mason Mount in, who was chronically injured last season. He's already been injured twice this season. I'm looking at that and I'm going, oh, hang on a minute, there's 120 million near enough on 2 players that we can't get 90 minutes out of. Why are we buying them, Jay? Why are we going in on them? I'll ask you that question in a second. I'll just get this super chat quickly out of the way from Karen Tuck the Kids. Evening, gents. If the likes of McTominay and Rashford had been signed from Sheffield United 3 years ago, they'd be gone already. The academy graduate has too much sway. It's as bad as Old Trafford. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying with that, with the academy bias as well. But, Jay, just quickly go on to what I was talking about there. The scouting of these players now.
What I can't understand,
Adam. Why should we be nursing players, Jay?
Okay, what I can't fathom, like, we're owned by a family that owned an NFL team. An NFL team that went out and got Tom Brady and got Rob Gronkowski as his tight end. They went out, they identified 2 key positions that needed to get the best at that time the NFL in 2021, recruited them, won a Super Bowl. So we have American owners that, American sports, as you know, NBA, NFL, ice hockey, they're all run the same Moneyball system. So for American owners, we never adopted that system. I almost thought, Adam, that was whimsical. It never made sense to me. So all the players that you've listed there, Mount, we didn't need Mount. I've said on record that I don't think we needed Onana, and I stand by that. And to go and buy Highland, put him in a squad where he cannot have time to learn from an 30-odd-year-old striker who's been there at the club many years, who's banging in goals consistently. Who is Highland going to learn to craft from? He's not going to learn from Martial. He's not going to learn from Rashford. Like, he's a young player. Yeah, he's had a couple of injuries. When we signed him, he had a back injury. When he was unveiled in that pre-season friendly in Manchester, he came onto the pitch with a back injury. So we signed a player with a back injury. He's had 2 injuries since. He's got no goals in the Premiership. Now, flip the coin then, he's been immense in the Champions League. He has played very well there. But it goes back to another 70 million on a young striker. It's not as if he was banging 24 goal season for Atalanta.
Yeah.
Now, we all want Highland to develop over the next couple of years and be that 20 goal season striker. But I rephrase that, who the hell does he learn his trade from? Nobody. He's learning his taught.
Inspiration there,
nobody. But then we have Benny McCarthy. Okay, so younger fans will not probably know what Benny McCarthy is. Benny McCarthy, I would call, Adam, without being disrespectful, was a journeyman pro. He wasn't top level pro, journeyman pro. So he's there as a striking coach. Gary Neville almost goes on about quote unquote best in class. So surely you would hire the best in class technical striking coach to coach your young up and coming £70 million investment. We haven't done that either. So the cracks are there all over the pitch, Adam. All over the club. So the fans are losing their mind, full sale only, clears out, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen. With the new TV deal being signed for multi-billion-year contract, the Glazers are going nowhere. And we're literally now looking at scraps from Ratcliffe coming in that can change, quote-unquote, the football running of the club. And that is what the fans now, Adam, are living off.
Yeah, no,
it's sad. It's actually sad.
It is sad. I think that's what a lot of people have said. I mean, Gary Neville said it the other day. He says, "I don't enjoy United anymore. I feel sad." It's like really damning analysis on his club, his own boyhood club. It's like, I just don't look out for him anymore. I don't like watching them. We are the worst team in the league to watch. We are boring to watch. I'll get into some of the chat as well right now. Adel says, Adam, if Rashford played as our number 9 instead of Højlund, do you think he would have 10 plus goals in the Prem? No, 100% no, he wouldn't, mate. Rashford can't play 9 for me. I don't think his best position is 9. Alien Tenno, hope you're doing well. Benny McCarthy couldn't strike a box of Swan vests. Yeah, I think Alien's on the bit. Alien was at the game today. We did see him before the game as well. I'm sure he's dejected as the rest of us are right now. Benny from Crossroads is better than Martial, says Tat. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a like, guys. Subscribe if you are tuning in for the first time. We have got over 1,100 in the room with us right now. So for FUTV officially with that name, it is a record today. Sadly, it's come in a negative tone, and not the best circumstances with the way that the team is performing today. But again, Jay, I'm going to come to you in terms of how the effect of these so-called senior players and what it's going to do to the younger players coming through. It's like I'm fearing for Kobbie Mainoo coming through right now. I'm fearing if he puts him in that team, because the Reds, the fan base is going to be crying out for Mainoo to start now that Bruno Fernandes is suspended. But this just means that we are going to be lined up. Kobbie Mainoo is going to be lining up alongside Scott McTominay and Amrabat in midfield against Liverpool, who are now top of the league at Anfield away from home next weekend. Mate, I feel sorry for him. Like you said, it's like he is coming through into the worst atmosphere, the worst pile of shit I've ever seen. I titled my video before, The Worst Ever United. I think this is worse than Ollie and Jose right now. I don't know about you, but I feel for them youngsters coming through into this now, Jay.
Adam, that's a great point to develop. So if you go back even to Keane's time, when he came to the club, he had Robbo beside him. He learned from Robbo. Played beside Cantona. Class 92. That class 92, when they were drift fed into that squad back between 93 to 95, 96, there was leaders all over that pitch.
Yeah.
Schmeichel, Bruce, Pallister, Hughes. I could go on and on and on. There was leaders everywhere. So now, the like of Kobbie Mainoo, he's now going to Lionsden next week at Anfield, beside McTominay and or Amrabat. Because who knows what surprises Ten Hag has to bring next week. Is he going to go up to Anfield and play that 3? Or would he try and park the bus and go 4-5-1? Then I want to go back then to another point that I'm thinking about today regarding our players and examples that they've seen. So this is my own theory. When Ibra was in a changing room, players had a big alpha male, Billy Big Bollocks, to look up to. Somebody that was literally, you make a mistake on the pitch, you make a mistake in training, a big character, somebody that will make you feel accountable. I believe when Ibra left, that dressing room became Pogba's dressing room. Now, Paul Labille Jogba became an example for Jesse, for Jayden, and Marcus.
He did.
And we all know what's become of them. That dressing room, I think, is rotten to the core. In came Ronaldo. Again, Billy Big Bollocks, number 2, but a bigger version. High standards in world football. Now, you can park the fact that his ego and whatever. You got to have an ego. In any sport, you got to have an ego. If you're a winner, have an ego. He comes in and he sees the standards of dressing room. Players not being accountable. Standards of food. Standards of training. He called the gym, when I put them here, a shithole, basically, because I've seen pictures of that gym. He slated the food. He slated so many things. The pool hadn't been upgraded since he was there back under Ferguson. So he came in, he was calling out standards in the changing room and the standards in facilities. Fell out with the manager, he's ousted. And now the final big personality we have there is a Varane World Cup winner. He's been ousted. So who is running that changing room? So Menu is now a young kid, extremely talented. Alanga's due back. So two young players, extremely talented. Who in that change room do they look up to? I think Casemiro will probably be sold in the summer. He's gone. So where are the leaders, Adam? Where are your leaders?
I tell you what, there was, mate. There was one leader sat on the bench today in Raphael Varane. This man has won absolutely everything. He's won more trophies at the highest level. Put them all of that Manchester United team put together. This is a man that Ten Hag, and this is where I can't help Ten Hag on this one, where I want him to succeed over these players. Brilliant. Yeah, I do. I want him there. I want him to be the one that wins this fight and this face-off between them both. But you've got Varane sat on your bench. In his words, in Ten Hag's words, comments, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was the Brentford game earlier on in the season where he said that it was a tactical change. No, he changed it for City. It was tactical against Manchester City. And it was a better passing setup. It was easier to pass. He's basically saying that Raphael Varane can't pass a ball. Yeah. He'd rather play Maguire, Shaw, Lindelof and Evans ahead of him now because he thinks that the one player that has been there, done it and won everything can't pass a ball. Now, I know everyone has a stinker of a game and I wanted to get everyone's opinion on this because this is what hurts me, because Varane's attitude was a stinker against Copenhagen when he came on. It was. But how many players on that pitch today have had absolute stinkers and still walk straight into the team the week after? Why is Varane so different? And why is Ten Hag trying to cover it up in press conferences? He's clearly not got an issue with him in the sense that he's not dug him out, because we know Ten Hag hasn't got an issue with naming players and isolating players like Ronaldo, like Sancho. He hasn't got an issue with it. But he cannot get anywhere near that pitch now. So why is he coming out and saying that there's no issue, but he's saying it's tactical and he won't play Varane? He clearly has got a problem with him, and this, I feel, is where Ten Hag might have lost control, Jay, in this, because one too many, and Varane, to me, I am guessing, but he doesn't look like that type of Pogba, Sancho type of player, like that bad egg amongst a bunch. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like Varane is a player that on that pitch he can actually inspire people. If you're stood next to Varane walking out at Old Trafford, then if you're a young player, then you're looking up to someone like Varane, aren't you? But he can't get anywhere near the team, and what's everyone thinking then?
Yeah, I don't believe for a second Varane is a bad egg. You don't win World Cups, multiple La Ligas, and Champions League titles being a bad egg in a Real Madrid side that changes managers like we change your underwear.
Yeah.
If you're such a bad egg at Real Madrid, all those managers would have seen through him. So I don't believe he's a bad egg.
He's played for all of them, hasn't he?
Yeah. Now, Adam, you've been in many a press conference. You've seen Ten Hag's body language. You've seen his mannerisms. I think we can all agree he's a liar. Okay, I don't know if anybody watching saw his pre-match interview today and was on one of the Irish channels. He was asked by the interviewer, why did you pick Martial? Straight to the point. And you can see his face change. He was like, why the fuck you asked me that? What the hell? You asked me that. He said, and I quote, Martial played well against Newcastle. Word for word.
Newcastle. He said he played well against Newcastle. He won't get him mixed up with Everton.
Yeah, that's what he said. So if he's saying Newcastle, does the man even know what game Martial was playing in?
I mean, the problem you've got here with Martial and Ten Hag right now and what Ten Hag is doing, I mean, as much as I cheers for the membership as well, Steve. Thanks for the donation. Brilliant stuff as always. I can see that Sean has taken that one. Congratulations, Sean. Make sure you do thank Steve as well. Good stuff, guys. Loving this community. Back to Martial and what we talked about then. The problem Ten Hag has got with Martial now is we could clearly see who's berating him on the sidelines against Newcastle. He started him today. Well, he knows. Ten Hag isn't stupid. He knows that is going to cause ruckus amongst the fans. The fans are not going to be happy that Højlund isn't playing and Martial is. He's not a fan favourite. the fans have given up on Martial. He's put him on there today, and he's brought him off. What was it? 50 odd minutes before the 60-minute mark, something like that. He brought him off. The biggest cheer of the day from the United fans, and trust me on this, as I know for the people that were sat around, the cheer wasn't for Højlund coming on. The cheer was for Martial going off. And then you've got to deal with that player then. It's like, it's all right saying these things, Ten Hag, but you've literally thrown Martial under the bus in a sense by starting him. If he's played well, then why is he coming off after 55 minutes? If you're playing well, no one comes off at that time. I'm sorry, but he's been hauled off earlier in every game he's started so far this season, Martial. He has been pathetic. But Ten Hag has to take some of the blame for actually playing him, because he does not warrant a place in this team. He isn't playing well enough. And today, I think that was the end for Martial. I think his confidence now is completely gone. He hit the corner flag as he was walking off, so he knows, and he is frustrated. People won't have seen that. But yeah, he was on full-on Martial sulk mode. And Ten Hag has to take the blame. He can't keep coming out and saying, like you said, the Lions aspect of it is there. Because we can all see what we can see, and it isn't what Ten Hag is saying. It's not. It really isn't. He does nothing for the team. The Martial FCers would have had about 5 minutes worth of clips from that game in about the first 5 minutes while we were still in the game, because everyone knows Martial is great when you're winning, or you're in a game and you're level and it's tight. He's all right in that, but as soon as you go down, you need to dig in. Martial is not a player you want, and no coincidence. Every time United have gone behind, Martial ends up getting subbed off because we can't rely on him. It's a joke. But Ten Hag really has thrown Martial under the bus in a way, Jay, because he started him today.
So, Adam, was that by design, or did Ten Hag genuinely believe Martial offered him anything today as a striker?
Say that again, sorry, Jay.
So my question to you, Adam, and everybody watching, was that completely by design? He put him on today, knowing what was going to happen, throw him under the bus.
Oh yeah.
Or did he actually believe he could get something from Martial today? It's A or B.
Honestly, if you've got any sort of brain cell or football knowledge, you know that you're not going to get anything from Martial unless you go in front. The risk that Ten Hag was playing today for me, and you say by design, is that he needed United to score the first goal. As soon as United went behind early doors, game plan A was out the window with Martial. I'm not surprised he brought him off so early in the second half. He couldn't bring him off in the first because it would have looked embarrassing. He couldn't bring him off at half time because that probably would have been even more embarrassing for him, because it had looked like he'd gone in, had his head blasted off in front of everyone and then hauled off. He literally substituted Martial off the soonest moment he could get him off the pitch that looked reasonable and didn't make him look like an idiot as well as a manager for me. He got it completely wrong. Højlund should have been playing. If a 21-year-old can't handle 2 games in a week, then we should never be buying that 21-year-old, in my opinion. I love Højlund. I love what he does. I love his enthusiasm. He's going to fail at Manchester United while this team is around him. I actually feel sorry for him. But if Martial's starting in front of him, then we are doomed, mate. We are completely doomed. And you know what? Ten Hag is at fault for that in playing Martial today. I can see Craig is in the chat with a super chat. You didn't need to donate anything, Craig. You can just give me the banter as it is. I know what it's like. It's been a fantastic weekend for Liverpool fans. Unfortunately, I have to sit with that next week, and I'm dreading what's coming. But yeah, for me, Craig, I worry for Højlund. I do. I really do. I don't see him prospering at all under this regime with the players that he's got. He doesn't get a consistent run of games now, and how is he supposed to build partnership? He should be playing alongside Garnacho every single game. The bright sparks of this team, let them grow and learn together and build that rapport, because let's be honest, you're not going to get it with Marcus Rashford. He's selfish in the way he plays, and that's great if you're playing as a lone striker, but I feel like we need to start committing to a front three that we know are going to play for years to come. I think Højlund and Garnacho could be that. Garnacho today, honestly, he didn't come to life, I don't think, until Højlund came on.
That's a very fair point. Like Garnacho, he's got all the talent and ability, and he's the winger that we've been crying up for years. I don't think we've had a top class winger since Bex and Giggs. Now, some fans might say, well, Ronaldo came back, but Ronaldo came back as a striker. He went out as a winger. But Garnacho, that's a very good point. He was looking for Hoyland on the pitch. And like you remember the synergy that we had between York and Cole back in 1999. So they're synergistic play patterns. I think we probably got 30 odd plus goals between them at that season. And now we have the potential of two young players that are going to have that synergistic partnership on the pitch. But that can only be fostered with experienced professionals around them that are going to nurture them. And unfortunately, right now, as I alluded to, the Class 92 had it. These boys, who's there to guide them on the pitch? Who's there to tell them, listen, right now, step back 5 yards, step forward 5 yards? Bruno is not going to do it. Like, Bruno has his faults, but he's not a one there on the pitch going to nurture a young player, because his game is all Bruno, and Pat and Stad Pat. And he is. And look, we've all given Bruno his credit, but let's call it spade a spade here, Adam. Bruno's stats are all predicated from the COVID season. Empty stadiums, when VAR was giving away penalties nearly every week. Now United couldn't buy a penalty. So his stats come from that season. A lot of fans don't want to hear that. No. When Bruno's on the pitch, it's all me. So is Bruno going to nurture up-and-coming talent? I don't think so. Marcus, as you said, he's too selfish. It's to me, myself, and I sided with Marcus. Then who's left? Casemiro, if he's out the door. Scott, and that's it. That is literally it from the front.
It is. It's like it's impossible to see any positives at all. It really is. It's horrible. I don't want to end the show that way, but we obviously have to. We have to let everyone recover. I know you're not going to be watching Match of the Day now, tonight, everyone, but we will be back tomorrow, guys. I couldn't get through all your comments. I can see them all coming in, and I totally get what everyone is saying in the chat. We'll give you guys more chance tomorrow as well on the Sunday evening show as well. I'll be back tomorrow on Top of the League Early Doors, probably talking about Erik ten Hag again in the paper round. So, yeah, let's see what the papers are writing after that. I'm sure they're all got the knives out and sharpening them right now. It's going to be interesting to see the stories that come out in the morning. But guys, thank you very much. A record crowd for FUTV, well over 1100 in the room, continuously there towards the end. Brilliant stuff. Make sure you do subscribe to FUTV. The content is going to be coming thick and fast as always. And give the video a like as well, guys. Brilliant stuff. I think we hit records today for one day's content. But yeah, sadly, it was at the expense of a shocker from our team. Jay, brilliant stuff as always. You was right out there on Twitter today. Just let the people know where they can catch you on your socials.
Oh yeah, it's a JAYD Mourinho. Guys, we see your comments there, and unfortunately we can't read them all out. But I promise you, tomorrow I'm at home all day. If you drop a comment and a like on the video after it's put up, I will respond to the comments tomorrow myself. I'll take a half hour tomorrow and I'll do it. If you want me to read your comments, I'll do it tomorrow afternoon. I promise I actually will. Is that fair?
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Brilliant. Guys, but that is it. Again, cheers for watching, everyone. Brilliant stuff. Sorry about the start with the sound. I did have myself muted. We got it sorted in the end. We got Jay on as well. All works well out in the end. But thank you very much, everyone. It's been a brilliant stream. Thank you for contributing as well. All the memberships and super chats. That is it for now, though. Enjoy the rest of your evening or what you can of it. And we'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye.